Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome along to Forever United TV. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend, particularly after yesterday's FA Cup final, which definitely, like we said yesterday, softened the blow for Manchester United's failings on Friday night. It's been a nice weekend so far with no drama. All the Premier League games are today, so all focus could be on City losing yesterday, which is great. But we're here to talk about Manchester United, Sunday morning papers, everything that's going on around the rumour mill and speculation columns. All we care about right now is a Europa League final and what happens after it. And what happens after it is Manchester United, hopefully, completely transforming their squad and backing the manager that desperately needs a little bit of a, let's just say, kickstart going into next season, because we know with this squad, it isn't going to happen. Get your comments in the live comment section if you are live, and please do get your comments in below once the video has finished its live if you're playing catch up later on as well. And let's get straight into it with the Victor Gyokeres and Rayan Cherki situation. They're the names on the thumbnail. They're the names that Manchester United are linked with. United wanting two number 10s. So let's start with Cherki's situation. Now, we did a show yesterday where we talked about Rayan Cherki in his pre-match press conference, the last game of the season for League and him coming out and hinting that he is definitely leaving, and bringing up the whole story behind his background at Lyon. He stayed when other players left. He was right in staying. He loves the club, but I think obviously time for change. He came out in his post-match press conference or in the mix zone yesterday after Lyon's last game of the season and confirmed he was leaving. Now, obviously, that has triggered everybody into speculation mode as to what is happening next with Rayan Cherki. And the complete update on him is that he is a target for Manchester United, but it's going to be one of him on United's list if Manchester United don't get their original targets. Apparently, there is people ahead of Rayan Cherki on the list. Now, it's crazy if you think where Manchester United are at right now, that someone like Rayan Cherki isn't on the list. Now, we've had plenty of debate amongst everyone in the live chats. Lots of people have had their opinions on Cherki. They don't think he's good enough. They don't think he's got the work rate. Don't think he's good defensively. My argument against all of that has always been, well, you defend from the front, and if he's putting up numbers from the front, he's taking the stress off the defence anyway, isn't he? And if we are eventually going to be sort of fizzling out Bruno Fernandez, Rayan Cherki, that creation, them numbers, that character, that charisma at 21, I think it's a steal. And I get where everyone doesn't have the fully convincing factor behind Rayan Cherki, but he is definitely a player that I think Manchester United should be going for. I think it's a no-brainer. I really do. I just think that United are not in a position to really turn up chances like this. I think he would come to Manchester United as well. I think Ruben likes him. The rumour was from the staff reports and what happened after the two games with Lyon, they were even more convinced about Cherki and the possibility of him fitting in under a Ruben Amorim system. Obviously, I think with Rayan Cherki, it comes down as well, because the other clubs that his agent has offered him to, the likes of Liverpool and other big European clubs, are in European competitions guaranteed, and United still not. So that, I think, again, and what Romano has come out with on Rayan Cherki and what other reporters have come out with on Rayan Cherki from last night alone was that a decision will be made within the next few days. So next week we will know about Rayan Cherki, because this, again, with the transfer window opening, is definitely making teams that are in the Club World Cup, for instance, start to move quickly for certain targets. So I think what clubs that are not in the Club World Cup are looking at are the moves from the teams that are in there, and then obviously they can start picking up the pieces off the back of that, because the reason behind it is they get paid by FIFA for participating in the Club World Cup before this financial year ends. So they can make transfers off the back of actually participating. Other clubs can still do transfers, but the bonus for the teams in the actual Club World Cup is that they've got extra money coming in that them other clubs don't. And they could possibly make a move for a certain player knowing that they're going to be guaranteed a certain amount of money for being in the Club World Cup. And that's why we're seeing a lot of movement from the likes of Real Madrid, who feel like they're going to go far into the competition. That's why they're in for Alvaro Fernandez. Another update on that, by the way, coming up today in the morning show. Obviously, they've gone and bought Howson already. They want Saliba. They're trying to push Trent through. and offer Liverpool an actual fee now so they can get him in before his contract ends on June 30th. So they can't get him on a free transfer until his contract ends, so he can't play Club World Cup. And this is the situation which has now popped up simply because these teams are in the Club World Cup. So, yeah, Rayan Cherki, I think he's aware of it. I think there are clubs that are in the Club World Cup that are after Rayan Cherki as well, and his options are there. I also do believe that Manchester United are able to actually spend a certain amount of money before this window shuts, like we know, which is your Matheus Cunha, Liam Delap, something like that. But what you've got to look at with Manchester United as well is if they're in the Champions League, a certain other calibre of player then pops up on that list, and they could possibly go out and buy somebody else before the end of June. So that is where we're at with Rayan Cherki and his situation. And the latest update on it is that he is going to make a decision this week on where he goes next season. Lyon are definitely selling. They have always said that they will sell him this summer because of the agreement that's in place. They have to sell him anyway because he's not going to sign a new deal, and his contract ends in a year's time, and they would lose him for nothing. Financial situations that are there at Lyon, obviously, as well, it is determining why Rayan Cherki is going to be leaving the football club at the end of this season. So that situation on its own is moving along quite quickly right now. And the big news is, and like we said at the top of the show, is that a decision is going to be made on Cherki this week. And that's what multiple sources are now saying on Rayan Cherki, that it's going to happen very, very quickly with him. And again, it's all down to the Club World Cup. The fact that it's happening quickly worries me a tad, because I do like him. I want him at Manchester United, I'll be honest. I think if he's looking to move quickly, it sort of pushes him towards a Club World Cup competing side, if you get what I mean. Decisions need to be made very, very quickly with players like that. Like we said last night, quickly, just on Alvaro Fernandez again, Manchester United set to rake in approximately 20 million for Alvaro because Real Madrid want him in for the Club World Cup. So as soon as this week pans out and all of the competitions finish up, we are going to see a lot of players moving very, very quickly so they can be in place with the new rules put in by FIFA for transfers to be done this quickly. So get all the negotiations out of the way at the end of May, and then bang, as soon as June 1st kicks in, register them for the Club World Cup within that first 2-week period of June so they can play in it, and you're away. That's it, basically. And that is the similar situation right now with Victor Gyokeres. He's still got one more game to play. Clinching the title, we've seen the pictures of him last night celebrating. He was interviewed last night as well and asked about his next move. He says he's still unsure. He's still he wants to play out the last game. He's got one more game to concentrate on. He's going to celebrate the title and go for the cup win as well. And that's all he's looking at, and that's all he's concentrating on right now. Unsure still on where he is going. Now, we know there's a big link with Arsenal at the moment and what's happening with them. But Fabrizio Romano and Victor Gyokeres came out last night and confirmed that Manchester United are still interested in bringing Victor Gyokeres into the football club. Now that, I think, would be big for United, simply because, again, if he is still playing in a cup competition this week, it gives him the time to just stay calm and concentrate on what's happening with Sporting. It's not like the season's over and Arsenal can get into him now because their season's ended. He isn't doing anything until his season is over. So United's season pretty much ends on Wednesday, as we know. And we'll know if we're in the Champions League or not. Then we can put Victor Gyokeres completely to bed, or we can reinvest our interest into him. Which way do we want to go? Because if we win the Europa League and the Champions League option players are there, like I spoke about earlier, like the ones that will be attracted to United because of the Champions League football being there. No matter what Ruben Amorim says, he can say that he only wants players that are interested in United. The real world doesn't tell you that that is possible. These players are going to look after themselves. Agents run football these days, and they will always look at what the best option is for their clients. So realistically, what we're looking at is, again, Gyokeres waiting it out to see what everybody has got to offer. Every player is going to do this. Like the Matheus Cunhas of this world are few and far between, and we've got to count our blessings for getting that deal actually over the line. But with Victor Gyokeres, again, I think it's actually a bonus that his season is still playing out. If we did have that interest, like Romano has said, then Manchester United would have an opportunity later on next week to actually reassess everything and go in. Because I think if Ruben comes to the table and says to Victor Gyokeres, I want you. There is a commitment from Manchester United to Ruben Amorim, and that is that I want this striker in. He fits everything that we need right now. And obviously, if you've got Erasmus Højlund playing alongside the likes of Victor Gyokeres or learning behind him, maybe that previous investment in Rasmus, who has just completely fallen off, might come to the fore now. We spoke last night about Rasmus and the club wanting him out. I don't actually see anybody being able to afford Rasmus Højlund for what Manchester United need. They need 40 million quid. No one's going to spend that on a failing striker like Rasmus Højlund. I use failing like I can't think of a better word. Like, he's just not good enough. That seems even worse actually, doesn't it? But I think what United have got there is a player that probably belongs, but not at the price tag that he is. And with him being Man United's #1 striker right now, I think the pressure has just got to a level with Rasmus Højlund that would he be able to survive if another striker came in? We've all said in many chats, like, will Rasmus Højlund actually thrive with another senior figure there, another senior striker there? Can someone like Gyokeres come in actually be a big bonus and a benefit for Rasmus Højlund? It might go the other way. He may just fall off completely. We just don't know. But that's something that Ruben Amorim cannot guarantee, and he cannot rely on him getting better. He needs to make a move that's going to help him now. And Gyokeres fits Amorim. It may not fit the structure. And then that's that tug of war that I've talked about before between this new management system in place at United and Ruben Amorim. I think what this summer is going to show is exactly who are the power players in play at United. I think Delap fits because he's the younger player, he's cheap, his wages are not going to be astronomical, and Manchester United have got sell-on in him. I don't think they see sell-on as much in Victor Gyokeres. He'll want a 4 to 5 year deal, which will take him to his early 30s, and they will look at that and maybe say that there's no sell-on factor in that. Ruben Amorim's case would be, well, Victor Gyokeres could help secure Champions League football for the next 2 or 3 seasons if he's in our team. Is that not worth more than what the player can be sold on for after his contract ends? That's the balance that you've got to make on this decision. And someone at 26 going on 27 is just in that category of maybe, maybe not sort of territory. And that, I think, is the tug of war, like I said. That's what we're actually looking at right now with them. Let's get into the comments section. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to the live chats. If you are in there and you are talking right now, quickly, thank you again. Bolton Sands is where we're actually at. Thanks for all the comments from last night's video. We're just on the road for a couple of days, that's all. Decided to just go off and do our own thing, but the show continues, obviously. Normal schedule, always keeping you up to date with all of the news around United. Off to the lakes this morning as well, so yeah, looking forward to that. Something a bit different again. If anything breaks, I'll have you covered though. But I doubt it today. I think it's all going to go completely crazy after Wednesday. United's transfer window is just going to go bang. Hello, here we go. Well, maybe a here we go actually from Fabrizio Romano. Right, let's get some chats in. If Madrid buy Alvaro, we get how much, and is it possible to use it on Cherki? If Madrid buy Alvaro, Brian, which they are going to, according to reports, that has now been confirmed that they are in advanced talks with Gyokeres. Manchester United, with the release clause that Benfica have on him, and Manchester United's sell-on price, we expect to make approximately 20 million from Alvaro Fernandez. That's what Manchester United are expected to make, which is substantial because that's pure profit for Manchester United. He was an academy player, and obviously there is no debt on that player for United. We're not even paying him a wage at the moment, so that is in full profit. And to answer the last part of your question, it can be used on Cherki. It can be used on any player. Last night I made the point about Manchester United being able to actually afford players before the end of June because they probably knew someone like Alvaro Fernandez was going to go to Madrid. This is why I don't think Manchester United went back in for Alvaro in January and we got Dorgu, because we knew that Madrid were going to come in for Alvaro in the summer, and maybe we could reinvest that money then in a player that we desperately needed and was more higher up the priority lists, because January's list is very minimal because nobody wants to sell anyone. I put that together last night. That was just my mind, my thought process on Alvaro Fernandez. But I think this has been in the offing for a while, and Man United can cash in on this one. Said before, I could see us getting none of our targets and having to stick Cunha up front, says Ant. And Bumo cost as much as Franco Mastantuono and Cherki combined. No, he doesn't, Ant. No, he doesn't, Al. Franco Mastantuono's 38 million. And Bumo cost, sorry, you got it right. Sorry, mate. You putting both of them together. I got it completely upside down, back to front there, mate. Yeah. Mastantuono was the other story that was floating around last night. 38 million. United have actually contacted and are in negotiations with River Plate, according to Graham Bailey last night on that one. So Franco Mastantuono is definitely a player that Manchester United could be going for instead of a Cherki or a Brian Mbumo or a Semenyo or a Trincao, or any of the other 10s that we're linked with. Mastantuono would come in that position and we wouldn't see any of the others happening. I think that's the reality of Manchester United's situation with the 10s at the moment anyway. It's one of them 4 or 5 players on top of Matheus Cunha, according to all the reports at the moment anyway. Leon are not asking 50 million, by the way. The basis, it's what he said yesterday, just trying to think back. The price for Ryan Cherki is under 30 million. That's guaranteed, by the way. There is a release clause in his contract as well, and he's got 1 year left. It won't be above 30 million for Ryan Cherki. That's why he is such a bargain. That's why I think we need to go for him, to be honest. Block in the chat says, all right, Sean, is anyone else regretting letting Henderson go? Ten Hag made some shocking decisions. You don't need to tell me that, Block. Just so nobody in the chat tries to attack me while I'm walking around the lakes for bringing up that name again and always going back, apparently, according to some people, and blaming Ten Hag for everything. It was his fault for so much, so just get over it. Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. I do. I thought Henderson was a good goalkeeper. I did. There were obviously issues. I think that interview that he did was the biggest issue that he had at Manchester United. And again, like what was going on behind the scenes at the time when Ten Hag was there, with Murto there. I'm not blaming all of Ten Hag, but Murto as well. I think he was a big problem at Manchester United. I really do. And a big problem with a lot of the players as well, in terms of knowing exactly what was going on with them contractually and their standing within the club. There was lots of stories around problems within Manchester United. And it will take time for this new management team to come in and start to steady the ship and it be a consistent one for years and years to come. It's going to take time. It's not going to be perfectly run straight away. So, yeah, we have got, I think, something to actually look forward to on that. It's like a properly structured football club. I think that's something that is definitely a positive and a bonus from what we've not had before anyway. Let's get some more comments coming in. Gary says, so many Reds arrived in San Sebastian yesterday. Had a great night last night in the bars in San Sebastian, full of Reds everywhere. That's it. I think there's a few people doing a little bit of a jolly, mate, making it because we played Chelsea on Friday. This is what I told Saeed, actually. I said to him, he said, what do you think I should do? I said, go and do what you're doing on Friday in London, because he was working, covering the Chelsea game, and then fly from there to Spain. Go and have an holiday. Go and have a few days before the actual final, because let's be honest, like, the final is the final on Wednesday, but no one's rushing back to get to that Villa game, are they? I'd have a week off, mate. That's what I said to him, and it does sound like, Gary, there's loads of Reds doing exactly the same thing. Our season ended when Ruben joined, said Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan, that is harsh, mate. He's feeling a bit down. Let's everyone cheer Jonathan up a little bit in the chat this morning. He's feeling it, the poor man. I get it. I do get it. I think it is a concern where this club is going. And ultimately, a lot of fans are not going to be taken aback by any bit of news or anything that's happening in the transfer window or announcements from the club, simply because they've seen what they're watching on the pitch, and it's going to take a lot of convincing for any Manchester United fan to actually think that we are actually going to move forward anytime soon. It does look a little bit, like there's no hope. I'll say that. And I get where Jonathan's at with that. But, I mean, yeah, for more reason than one, I don't think Jonathan is blaming Ruben Amorim necessarily directly there either. I think it just, with the change and what Ruben wanted to implement and these players giving up on him and the whole fallout with all of the players before the window, then nobody really getting to grips with it, having to prioritise the Europa League. I mean, did you see the interview from Casemiro as well yesterday? And he's talking about they prioritised the Europa League over the last 5 games. It's not good enough for United. They felt like they had to put everything into the Europa League, and it was sacrificing the Premier League. And Casemiro knows that that's not the norm, and that isn't acceptable at Manchester United. He gets it. The bigger players, I think, would, are the experienced players like Casemiro. And I think when you look at Casemiro, just quickly on him, that's why losing someone like him could actually hurt United in the summer. And I think just to have that standard of player to back Ruben, because I think he does back Ruben, I think he is behind him. I think he understands what Ruben's trying to do. And it might actually just be worth keeping Casemiro, even with his astronomical wages that he's on. I think if Ruben would keep him, Ineos would sell him. That's my opinion on Casemiro anyway. I think that would be the case with a lot of the players at United. McForty says, agents have their retainers as a priority. What's the best financial deal I can get for myself? Yeah, the agents are in it for themselves. Their clients are going to get looked after, but the agent's taking a piece. If the client's doing well, the agent's doing well, basically. That's their world. And I think there's a lot taking advantage of it right now. Can't believe Alvaro Fernandez is going to Real Madrid, but Erik ten Hag thought he wasn't good enough. God, I hate Erik ten Hag. Henderson, Alvaro, who else are we talking about, right? Ahmad, don't try and tell me that Ten Hag was not a problem at this football club. I'm telling you, there's a list, an absolute list. AJ, welcome to the members club, gifted by the Angry Beaver. Let's get a couple of super chats in now as well. I think there's one from Ray, first of all, who says, we need another centre forward anyway. Our options up front is shocking. Ray, you took the words right out of everybody's mouth, my friend. We are shocking up front. You have got that right. It's been our worst goals season ever in the Premier League in terms of goals scored, along with everything else that's horrendous this season in the Premier League. But the Europa League, we've actually broke the Europa League record for scoring goals in one single campaign. I think we're level with it now with 35 goals. When you consider we've got just over 40 in the Premier League, it shows you the difference from Europe to the Premier League and how we've prioritised Europe and completely fallen off in the Premier League. Greg says, this season, Erik ten Hag equals minus 14 places in the table. Ruben, minus 2 places in the table. Season was over before Ruben. Greg saying, basically, Ten Hag left us in this mess. And I think we are recovering from what he has done before. I mean, I agree a lot with what Greg says there. And you only have to look at some of the players we've just mentioned there that Ten Hag didn't rate or didn't have room for. He wanted Tyrell Malacia instead of Alvaro Fernandez. He's now on to Real Madrid for 50 million. He didn't think Ahmad was worthy of a start in Manchester United's side and was playing other players ahead of him. Ahmad now signed a new 5-year contract at Manchester United and has been one of the leading lights this season. Dean Henderson, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not. MB in the chat says, I recall my initial comment when Amorim joined, my expectations were low. 1, don't get relegated. 2, stabilise the team. And 1, I explained that stabilise meant stop the bleed. This is my main concern. No, I get it. The form in the Premier League has been a disaster. We're not getting relegated though, so I suppose that's one part of the list. And obviously, we will be fully judgmental on Ruben Amorim when the season starts. He said it in his press conference the other day. Let's just get through this season and then let's move forward. Right, into the next bit of news. We'll keep the comments coming in as well, but Barcelona and Marcus Rashford, the situation there. Barcelona have approached Manchester United apparently with another loan offer for Marcus Rashford. Why can't anybody afford to buy our players. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, why can we not sell players? It's like someone wants to loan Rashford. Someone wants to loan Anthony again. Why can't we get these players out of the door? So the story is that, and it's coming from Sport, and they're saying that Barcelona want to offer Manchester United a loan for Marcus Rashford and an option to buy, just an option to buy him at the end. If Marcus Rashford was to be loaned out, his full wages would have to be paid, and he would have to have an obligation at the end of it, which was more than 40 million for Marcus Rashford. For a transfer, a permanent transfer. Manchester United would have to nail down this loan. Look, I think Ruben needs Rashford out of the door first and foremost. That's got to be priority. He can't work with him. I then think that Marcus Rashford needs to be sold, secondly, rather than loaned. Third option would be, look, he's loaned out and we are going to get money later down the line, but Ruben needs money now. Ruben doesn't want Marcus Rashford in his side. It's clear. But he needs money. We need to sell Marcus. If someone wants to loan Marcus Rashford, there has to be a loan fee, an obligation, and every single penny of his wages covered for Manchester United. We would at least then get, what, a 10 million loan fee, 18 million of wages cleared off the books for a season for Manchester United to invest, because we know then that there's an obligation at the end of that period where he will be sold on. I think that is the only way that United would even entertain a loan move again for Marcus Rashford. I just don't think that the club are in any position at all to allow somebody to come in and take Rashford just on a straightforward loan. Like Anthony's deal, for instance. I just don't think it's there. They would nail it down with bonuses and sell-ons. So bonuses, obviously obligations to buy, and I think a combination of Anthony and Sancho's loan deals is what Manchester United would have to do to afford Marcus Rashford to leave on loan again this season. I mean, would you accept, get into the comment section, would you accept another loan if it suited Manchester United for Marcus Rashford? I think that's what we're looking at here. I wouldn't. I don't think it fits. I understand it, but I'm not going to back away from what I think is the most important part of this summer, which is Ruben Amorim needs funds now, and he needs to invest in his squad this summer. Later down the line, he might not be here. Like what MB says, like what a lot of other people have said, like what I've said. I think Ruben, if he doesn't get the funds this summer, I think he gets sacked before December. I really do. I can see that happening. I don't want it to happen, because I think he actually is the man for Man United. I really do. I think you can tell when he talks, he knows what he wants to do. And I tell you what, there's so much pressure on him going into this summer after what he said in his press conference the other day, when he said that we know what we're doing. And when talking about the fans and the fans' patience, then going on to say there is a plan and we are going to make sure that the right decisions are made this summer and things will change. Let's just get this season over with. I tell you what, like saying things like that are definitely going to put pressure, massive amounts of pressure on Ineos, on Manchester United as a whole, and then on him to deliver at the start of next season. Someone said a great comment yesterday, I can't remember who it was, but they said that, can you imagine if Ruben Amorim loses the first 3 games of next season? That's the type of pressure he's under now. Like, that's where we're at. This is what I expect to happen next season, because he's lost all of his grace period, like we've said. He's lost too many games, and United have got worse in the Premier League under Ruben. We get the Europa League, that gives him a tiny bit of space, a little bit of manoeuvring room, a little bit of wiggle room, as you say. And then you go into the new season off the back of getting 200 million plus spent on you. You get 4 or 5 players in, and United start off badly next season. Oh, I fear for him. I really do. And I wouldn't fancy his chances at all going into next season. I really wouldn't. Anyway, let's get into some more comments on that. Marcus Rashford, talk to me, everybody, as well. Is it important that Manchester United get Ruben Amorim his money now and then build a team this summer for him rather than getting a better deal for the club later down the line? Because I think you could get more for Rashford if he's loaned out again, because he could have a full season of great form where he then becomes more valuable, but he's a year older. I'm going selling him this summer. Honestly, we need the money in. It's desperate stages right now. A couple of mega super chats in. First of all, from Block, thank you very much, mate. Get you and Kaz a drink on me on your well-earned break. See you at Villa. Sean, legend, mate. Thank you so much for that one, buddy. And the Angry Beaver with another super chat. Thank you, mates. He says, let's get Adam and Kaz drunk. Enjoy your break. Kaz, we're going to be pissed later. I'm not saying that for everyone to pile in with super chats. I'm not planning on getting absolutely smashed. I've got a bit of walking to do first. God, I feel old. Anyway, let's get some more comments in. Rashford wants to play for England in the World Cup next year. He's going to be under a lot of pressure to sign somewhere. Yep, he will. And do you know what? Home Designs, that part there, like you said then, for me, is why he should just stay at Villa. I don't think he's going to be a mainstay player in Barcelona's team. I don't think he's going to be in the starting lineups. He's definitely not a guaranteed starter, is he? 100% he's not a guaranteed starter in Barcelona's side. So go to a side where Tuchel can watch you play week in, week out. Emery literally has proven that he wants to build his Aston Villa side around Marcus Rashford. It's clear as day. It really is. And just go for that. I don't know why, but great comment. If he's going to get in that England side, he needs to make a big decision on his future, because we know it's away from United. It's just whatever deal United can get for him, because Ruben won't play him, and Rashford knows this. He's not going to sit on his wages and do nothing at United like some people think, and some people have used as the example why he won't be pushing for a move. He's just going to sit on all of that money and United can't get rid of him. We can, because he wants to play in the World Cup. And Tuchel knows that if he doesn't play anywhere, or isn't playing anywhere, then he isn't going to be in that World Cup setup. Mark says, if we'd have started the season with Amorim, Cherki, Cunha, Delap and Watkins instead of Ten Hag, Højlund, Rashford, Antonet and Garnacho, would we be in the top six? We aren't far away with midfield and defence. I get it, like, it's all if, buts and maybes. I don't think we would have got Cunha in the summer. I don't know, actually. There was talks of it a couple of seasons ago, but not 1 year into his Wolves deal. I don't think that would happen. But, I mean, other players, we don't know. It would have been a different window. It would have been a different window altogether. I said last night, Man United's priorities in the summer was wrong, and where we spent good money on decent players, and they've all done all right this season, they were in the wrong area of the pitch. Manchester United have been let down drastically by a goalkeeper and a forward line, which has been pathetic, absolutely pathetic this season. And that's why Manchester United looked like we wasted a load of money in the summer, because we didn't buy in the right areas in the pitch that we really needed to invest in. Greg says, if we lose the first 3 games, it's not worth thinking about. It's over. Our fan base won't be able to handle it. I don't think they would, Greg. You're right on that. And I think he will be gone. Jordan says, honestly, if Ineos have the balls to back the manager, then allow them to be loaned out again. Rebuild, it's a magic one transfer when the Prem teams are getting stronger. It's a magic one transfer when the Prem teams are getting stronger. Sort of lost me on that one there a little bit, Jordan, but I'm getting the sort of gist of what you're saying there in backing him, having the balls to loan players out and then still make sure that Ruben gets his players. I think backing him is also in making sure that the players that don't work for Ruben are out of the football club as well. Anthony, Malacia, Rashford, Sancho, like there's other players in there as well that need to go. I've said this all along, the outgoings probably are more important this summer than the incomings, although the right quality of player in them incomings is going to be huge in it going into this window. I think Rasmus has suffered with not having an experienced striker to learn off and help his development. We all said it. He shouldn't have been thrown in the main striker position last season. No, he shouldn't have, Jay. And definitely not given the number 9. Like, when you give a player that shirt, you make them feel like they've made it. You're done. You're a legend. I know I'm not big on shirt number things. I really don't care, to be honest. But like the iconic 7 shirt when Mount got it, I wasn't like the one of them fans that was going absolutely mental over it, but I got it. I got what people were actually saying with that. But like the 1 to 11 shirts, you would expect your best players to be in. That's what I would say, at least. And I know it's different. Some players had bigger squad numbers and they were even bigger legends than the ones that were in the 1 to 11 shirts. I get it, I do, but giving Rasmus Højlund the number 9 shirt was just saying to him, look, you scored 16 goals last season, well done. We now think you are top striker and you are Man United's Man United's top striker. And that was proven in what we did in the transfer window, because we didn't buy another striker. Xerxes isn't a striker. He's a hybrid 10. I remember Ten Hag saying, he brings us something different. You had Ahmad. Why didn't you go out and get another 9? You lemon. You bought Mountain the season before. There's a 10. Oh, yeah, you had Bruno as well still. So why is Xerxes coming in? Oh, anyway. That was Ten Hag's logic. And don't get me started on that. Even though I just did start it myself. Amir says, Ineos and the board management, please work as quickly as possible. Players and next transfers, summer window, yes, yes, and yes. Please do. Quickly, just wanted to clarify what the whole Qatari coming back in for Manchester United situation was. Absolutely nothing. Because what people have dragged up a story from is basically what was already there before. So remember when Ineos bought their shares from the Glazers? There was an 18-month period that they had to come in, invest their own money in that time as well, which we've talked about, which was Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 300 million, which has already been spent. That was covering what the Glazers lost in the COVID period, which was approximately 300 million, because we did have that in cash reserves before COVID. That got repaid by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, so the Glazers knew exactly what they were doing there. That came from the Athletics report, by the way, so that's factual. And then I feel like people have jumped onto this and tried to turn it into a story like Sheikh Jassim is waiting to bid for Manchester United as the Glazers and Ineos all of a sudden start to plan selling their shares at Manchester United. No, they're not. And the story basically is, after 18 months, the Glazers have the right to resell Manchester United over the top of Ineos, but Ineos would get first refusal to buy them shares. So you're asking, basically the story is built around that 18-month period ending in the next 3 months, and the Glazers and Ineos having the opportunity to sell them shares. Do you really think they are going to, with everything they've put in place? And anybody running that story, like, just don't look, they've dug up some old news. That was there when Sir Jim Ratcliffe bought his first bit of shares into Manchester United, and that was always there 18 months down the line. We're about 3 months away from that now, so that's why people started to build up these stories. I seen one in the MEN this morning running the same thing, actually. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos ready to sell their shares in Manchester United as Sheikh Jassim is preparing to buy Manchester United and clear the debt. It's like, no, he's not. What a load of crap. Look, yeah, that's what it was anyway. I just need to bring that up because some people have been asking about that in terms of where the Sheikh Jassim thing is right now. It's non-existent. It's exactly where it is. And Ineos and the Glazers are going nowhere. And sadly for us, we're going to have to just lump that and deal with Manchester United making their own money. Like again, like if United run it right, then United will be self-sufficient. We don't need big billionaire owners to come in and put their money in. By the way, there won't be a paper round today because obviously we're going out somewhere on a break. So there won't be a paper round straight after this over on Football Talks today. So we're just doing an extended morning show here on FUTV to get our football fix for today. Thank you everybody who has liked the video already. If you are loving the content, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you everybody who was watching the show later last night as well that we did on Rasmus Højlund. Again, loads of comments in on that one. So do give yourself an opportunity to go through some of the other stories that we have done because we do actually link everything together on the show. Bit by bit, we go off what we've done in another show and bring that into another one. So if you've missed one show, go back and watch it just so you're completely up to date on where we got to with the stories that are going around today. Particularly the Alvaro Fernandez one, Real Madrid and what they're doing because of the Club World Cup. That's going to be significant for Manchester United. Whether or not United had the money in the bank to pay for Matheus Cunha and one other before the end of June, don't know. I said before, maybe it's because we knew that Alvaro was going to Real Madrid and we had pure 100% profit of about 20 million coming in, which would help us actually fund them deals on PSR terms, that is. Or maybe with Alvaro Fernandez going, like I said, we already had money there for Cunha and one other. We've now got a bit more to spend on one other. Maybe that is Rayan Cherki, like some of the comments have said, because the report from last night was, and he said it came from the horse's mouth, he's leaving Lyon and he is going to be going to another club, and that decision is going to be made in the next week. So Rayan Cherki is leaving Lyon, and we're going to know where he's going after this week coming. So what you've got to remember now is, a week today, the season's over and the nightmare ends. It's brilliant, isn't it? It ends. It's all done. And what we've got there is all of the announcements then, and then we get all of the clarification. And let's just see exactly what happens from that point as well. Also, there's been lots of people asking me, and I'm just going to pop this into the live chat for you all right now, actually. So bear with me 1 second, but we do have a new shirt sponsor. And I'm going to drop it into the chat right now. So you can get all of your kits. If you use this link in the live chat now, directly just click through that link to enter the site. Then the discount will be added automatically, and you get whatever shirt you want. I need to whisper this quietly as well, but yes, the new Manchester United kits are in there. Okay, and just go and see, because I don't know how or why or what, but the ones that you are seeing all over social media right now are in that shop. Yeah, go and have a look if you want to. But yeah, they're brilliant. I had one on for the watch along the other day. Great quality, really cheap, with the code, with the link that you've got there, and loads of different options. And the retro options on there, by the way, yes, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, OK Jerseys are our new our kit partner here on Forever United TV. Go and have a look at the options that are there, and tell me that them prices are not mind-blowing. Seriously, and the quality is good. You have 2 options of quality as well. So you get the match jersey and then the fan jersey. And they are different, because the match jersey ones, the player ones that are on there, are shaped and built for playing in, and the fan ones are actually for more comfort wear as well, but still same quality, but not as like fitted like you would for a match day or a game or any activity to that matter. Anyway, but yeah, go and have a look. That's what I'm saying on that one. Sold Scott, sold Dean Henderson, sold Alvaro Alanga, Wan-Bissaka, but didn't replace them. Do you know what? There's a decision that needs to be made on Diogo Dalot this summer as well. I think Ruben wants to keep him, but if you're looking at making money, and you've got players coming through your own academy, and you could go out and buy and replace and get someone better, because you can get better than Dalot. And I think Dalot would fetch at least 30 to 40 million. I think someone would buy Dalot. I do. Then I think they're the sorts of deals that you've got to look at. I like Dalot. I think he's a great professional, but needs must. Starting 11 comes first for Manchester United, I think. And I think we do need to look at the likes of Dalot, possibly even Martinez in the future as well. Like, he's coming up for a contract renewal. Like, he'll be 3 years at the football club, and I think he's only played 1 overall, I think, in terms of games played, compared to the amount of time he's been out injured. So I think a decision needs to be made on the likes of Dalot and Martinez going forward, because I'm not sure if I would be looking to give Martinez a new contract. I love the guy, I love his passion, but he's not available enough. I don't know if Man United can afford to have that type of player in their side. And so, yeah, I mean, all of that is up. Like, and I've said this before myself, like, I really don't have a problem with any player in that side, apart from maybe Yoro, Ahmad, Bruno to a degree, but understanding the fee if it comes in, if that is real for him, that United would have to consider that. I wouldn't lose sleep if any of them players were leaving Manchester United at all. They have had their chance, and I feel like they've blown it. I really do. I feel like it's tough luck. Time for you to move on. And if the big brave calls are going to happen, it's calls like that that I think are right at the top of the list. I really do. There is other ones there that are obvious, but it's not the obvious ones that I'm going on about. It's the ones that are going to really have the fan base talking. I think they're the ones that are the most important ones for Manchester United going forward. If Dalot is worth 30 million and Frimpong 33, doesn't make sense. Well, there was a deal in place there for Frimpong, an agreement with Bayer Leverkusen where he could leave for a certain amount of money. So, again, like, why United wouldn't be all over that sort of deal, maybe it is simply because we're not in the Champions League or where we're actually standing. But he's more of a winger than a fullback now. He's turned more into a winger then. And I think he suits that system that Slott's got there. Yes, Ahmad, Bruno and Yoro, the three untouchables, says Steve. Martinez, great when fit, never available enough. We have to move on. Injury-prone players. United transfer budget limit, well, we don't know. But if we're in the Champions League, I say 300 million. That's the minimum. The story about Manchester United spending 200 million if we qualify for the Champions League, I think is ridiculous. United should be spending 200 million if we don't make the Champions League. And you will say, well, how are we going to fund that if we're not in the Champions League? Well, like I just said, you have to start making some ballsy calls. 200 million spent off the back of sales is what I'm talking about, by the way, on that one. But look, there are all your stories on the Sunday morning, everybody. Thank you so much. That was your Sunday fix. Please do drop your comments in below. Any issues at all with any of the information that we've talked about regarding the kits or anything like that, just pop a comment in. The link is there in the live chat right now. If you click on that, it'll take you straight through with all of the discounts in for any shirt that you want. The Manchester United section is jam-packed with quality, by the way. Just go and have a look at that. But yeah, that is it all for this morning, everyone. I'm going to go out, enjoy a Sunday now with no dramas. I will see you all later on this afternoon for the evening show as well, though. Don't forget, we are going to be still bringing out the content. If anything does break, I'm charged up, I'm ready to go, just in case. I don't think we'll need anything today, but I'll be there anyway, everybody. But for now, that is us all done, wrapped up. Thank you, mods in the chat. Brilliant from you yet again. And also, as always, thank you to the Super Chatters, new members. Anyone who has just subscribed to Forever United TV, thank you. I will see you all later on this evening. Have a good one, people. Subscribe.